because I'm a tough guy. Like, yeah. So let's let the room fill up. I got some things to say that I think are fairly important for everyone to hear.
Nice. Yeah, really interested for this. And you're always that step ahead, because when I was looking at the charts today, I was thinking to myself, I don't really have much to say of what I normally say.
Well,
So
and
what is it that I do want to say? And I thought, well, all I can say is what I'm seeing, and then get you to.
but the point is that our crypto charts aren't the ones telling the story. Crypto is the dog. The tail is macro, the dollar, the stock market, and gold today. And because shit got real,
Yeah.
I'm back at my parents' house in Brisbane, and they're babysitting my kid, and they just dumped a load of marbles over everywhere.
Nice. Hey everyone, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. So you let me know when I'm good to go.
I think you're good now, dude.
All right. So I want the first thing that I want to say very clearly is that crypto is being driven by macroeconomic forces. The market is riskier than it was 3 months ago. Does anyone disagree with that? That there's more, what we have is more uncertainty about the outcome. Could be very good, or it could be really, really crap. Does anyone disagree with that in the chat? Okay, so if you think about what markets react to greater uncertainty with, a logical, rational investor would only stay invested in stocks right now if they were going to get paid a bit extra for that extra risk, right? Anyone agree, disagree?
Right.
So that is a natural repricing down. And this has nothing to do with charts. It has nothing to do with trend lines, support, resistance, any of that stuff. It has to do with this. Where am I? So this is a tweet from a great friend of mine, Jeff, who's a very good options trader working for one of the biggest, he runs the options book for the big Bitcoin, publicly listed Bitcoin miners. So before all this shit started going down, we had a Bell distribution of possible outcomes priced by the options curve, and the price was about 5,800 for the S&P. And there's a low tail of things that could happen. Now, on a US credit derating, because they fuck shit up, we've got potentially this. If the changes that are going on both get gone through with and are bad, then this is the worst case scenario. And where we are now is roughly in the middle of those two terrible, terrible curves. So this is the optimistic, the headline renegotiation on tariff negotiations, Trump backs off. This is Trump goes through with it and it goes bad. Now, what I would say very clearly is that nobody in this chat, nobody in this Zoom call today knows if Trump's ideas are good or bad. Certainly, they come with pain. Certainly, they may be long-term the best thing that's ever happened to America. Certainly, they may be long-term the worst thing that's ever happened to America. We just don't fucking know. And what you are all feeling, and I'm feeling, is I don't fucking know. And what do? What's our impulse when you have that I don't fucking know? We seek certainty. You're all here on this call today because you're deep down seeking certainty from me to tell you what's going to happen, but I don't fucking know. Or you'll read some other fuckwit on the internet telling you he knows what's going to happen. Or you'll draw lines on your charts that tell you, oh yeah, we're going to bottom here and then bounce to there and then do this and then do that. Or God forbid, you start counting Elliott waves or doing Gann cycles or fucking sunspots or any of that bullshit. Like, just fucking kill yourself if you're going to start doing that, because that's wrong. So what you've got to do is embrace the uncertainty and say, what could happen here is tariffs are inherently deflationary. deflation could give the Fed a license to print money to juice the economy back up. That could send crypto to the moon. We could have the dollar unwinding that people have been talking about for 40 years, which could send crypto to the moon. We could have a global depression, in which case global trade dries to a standstill, and Trump holds the line, and the news about this doesn't get through to the Midwest because they were already fucked, which is his base, which is all he cares about. And we go into a global depression, and that would completely wreck crypto. We could have a situation where every nation's now for themselves. China can take a stab at Taiwan. Fucking Russia makes a grab for the Baltic states. Everyone's on their fucking own. Historically, war has been incredibly good for markets. You look at the way the stock market ran leading up to World War II. That was a fucking bull market and a half. So we're staring down the barrel of shit could go really good, or it could go really bad. We're not in the middle anymore. There's lots of coulds, and we don't have an edge. We want to restrict our trading to trades where we have edge. Jim, it's Arbitrum Network, and you want to get USDC to Arbitrum Network. The easiest way is to withdraw from a centralized exchange, and when they say which network do you want it on, send it on Arbitrum to your MetaMask account. Aussie dollar below 60 cents against the USD. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I fucking hate the Pacific peso. I'm 95% denominated in USD, but I'm getting fucked too. You know, and while we're talking about coulds, for Jim Jagers pointing out that the Australian dollar is low, that could be a way that the Aussie housing boom comes to an end, is by a simple repricing of the Aussie dollar. You know, 10 years of 5% inflation and a 30% change in the currency, and we're back to 2011 prices. So let's look at the big picture. So let me just load up some charts. So the main deal today is not crypto. We're going to look at crypto, but we're going to first look at what's really driving it.
You share your screen again, dude.
Yeah, I'm just bringing up charts. Here we go. Okay, this is the S&P 500 futures. I've got two different measures of volatility. I've got standard deviation, and I've got average true range. What do we see here? We see volatility spiked through the roof. Volatility is a proxy for uncertainty. So, and we know that, let's look at it on a daily chart. We see the same thing. We're seeing volatility we haven't seen since when? 2022, when shit really got bad. So we're seeing similar levels of volatility than that the inflation scare in 2022. Could it get worse? This is the COVID crash. What else have we got here? Let's go back a ways. This is the taper tantrum. This is some Trump kerfuffle that I vaguely remember. And let's take it to a weekly thing. Mom, you clean as hair. This is the GFC, and this is the tech wreck. So how bad could things be? Guys, I'm just going to move this outside. A bunch of people with vacuum cleaners that just walked into my life. Yeah. I'm going to shut this off because I'm on the call. It's okay, you can stick around. All right, guys. Everyone hear me okay now?
Loud and clear.
All right. So where are we? We're at where was this one? Oh, this is the COVID crash. So on a pure volatility basis, we're somewhere near the worst of the COVID crash. That if we go back 20 years, does this look closer to a bottom or a top than you guys? To you guys in the chat. And I'm not saying it's a bottom. I'm saying, are we closer to a bottom or are we closer to a top? Okay. Now, what I'd like to point out to you. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Let me find it again. The way that I'd like to think about volatility is like being on a roller coaster in the really scary bit. Human beings aren't built to handle. Thanks, Steve. Human beings aren't built to handle very, very scary extremes of emotion. So when you're going down the roller coaster and it looks bad and every day gets worse and oh fuck, it's fucked. Oh, it's fucked. Oh, it's fucked. Usually that is unsustainable. You just can't stay scared forever. And so markets tend to reach bottoms around extremes of fear, and they tend to reach tops around extremes of greed. If we go back to where we reached the top, we're probably looking nice in retrospect. I don't fucking pick it. So if we look at the bottom of volatility, it was probably February at an over-optimism of the Trump trade, right? We're probably somewhere in the vicinity of at least a temporary bounce. Whether that bounce holds or not, who fucking knows? But certainly, it's not a time to be trading. So this is stocks. Let's look at bonds. TNX is a nice way to look at bonds because it's just 10-year interest rates. Interest rates haven't gone completely nuts. Let's look at it on a longer term. So interest rates have gone down slightly, so that's not too bad. Let's look at gold. Gold dropped a little, but gold's been on a tear. Now let's look at Bitcoin. So where's Bitcoin in the big picture? Bitcoin is doing the opposite of those other markets. So Bitcoin is going down in volatility while everything else is going up. So what we're seeing is the first little hint. I think Bitcoin will probably hit this level, by the way. It'll probably make at least one more drop. But what we're seeing is the first little hint that Bitcoin outperformed everything on Friday. Maybe after all these years of people saying Bitcoin is a safe haven, but it not being a safe haven, it just being like completely tech beta, maybe that's starting to happen. I don't know. And your default thing should be, I don't know. Now, let's look at what alts have done in comparison. So this is a bunch of alts that I follow, and let's look at it on let's look at it on like it. Let's look at it since the top. A 4-hour chart will probably be. Oh, wait. Where was the top in stocks? Top in stocks is February. So since then, since the top in stocks, we got a few alts beating. A few alts are up. The worst of the alts, like Radium, which I hold, Solana, which I hold, are down like a shit ton. Let's look at alts over the weekend. over the weekend, some of these really greasy olds just got taken to the woodshed. Like 14%, 15%, Pendle down 11%, Aave down 11.5%. Aave and Pendle are some of the best coins and some of the best coins. Mog is one of the best memes. So what we're looking at, in my opinion, is some forced unwinding and absolute peak of fear. You don't want to be buying stuff here, and you don't want to be selling stuff, in my opinion. I'm going to take a couple more points, and then we'll take some questions. So any sort of trading methodology that you have that is tested on a historical basis, like any sort of trading system that you've tested on historical data, you think it's an edge. It's probably an edge most of the time. And also probably today doesn't look like a normal day, right? So in the chat, who thinks that the stuff that normally works most of the time, that you can grind out a day-to-day profit, who thinks it's reasonable for that to work today? In the chat.
This will be interesting to see what comes through.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense to do normal stuff that has a normal, like, statistically sound percentage of working. It's not that you've got to do something different. The win here is in not playing. Alts are on a big discount, but the global economy could go to the shitter, in which case alts are literally worthless. Alts are on a big discount, and if we bounce, those things are going to bounce so hard it'll take your breath away. Do you want to take that bet? Well, you would want to take that bet if you had an edge in predicting macro markets, but you don't. And if you're trying, you're a dickhead, so don't do that. So what we want to do as traders is restrict our trading to places where we have edge. Yeah, you want to restrict your trading to trades where you have edge. And you don't have edge predicting macro moves. You don't have an insider in the Trump circle. You don't have a crystal ball with regard to the long-term effects of tariffs on the global economy. Jim, it may not bounce back. Probably will. History belongs to the optimists. If you were to take a bet, you would bet on it bouncing back. But we don't know. The correct thing to say about an unprecedented situation, we've had globalism since the world, since the WTO treaty of 1999, I think it was. We've had 25 years of globalism. We're unwinding 25 years of globalism. If you think you know what the world's going to look like after that, fuck, I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, you just don't have that crystal ball. You don't have that crystal ball. So
This is one of those calls, isn't it? This is great stuff. Yeah, Kevin, no idea which way it will go. I guess at this point, the people that are categorically telling you which way it will go, I think those are the people that you run up with, Kevin.
they're all fuckwits. You know, the doom porners are you know, stop clock right twice a year. They were telling you the same fucking thing in 2009. So what things work? FinRev works fine right now. Carry trading, not very well. Do you want to buy alts? No, you don't. No, you don't. Do you want a dollar cost average down in Bitcoin? Yes. I think it's very clear that after a massive stock market crash, Bitcoin's still $80,000 fucking dollars. Like, let's just think about that for a moment. Like Bitcoin is standing the test of time for once, for the very first time in its life, Bitcoin is weathering the storm. It's going down, but yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing, Jim. It's amazing. Bitcoin is still in a strong uptrend. I agree. I agree.
At this point, is it too premature to say things like Bitcoin has decoupled from the S&P? Do we need to see further evidence that really standing
We got
alone?
the first little sniff of that on Thursday and Friday. On Friday, yes, but you know, one swallow doesn't mean a sprint. You know, we got the first sniff of it. I'm like, ooh, that might be, but you know, we want to think in probabilities. Yeah, I'm getting raped on hype, dude. Oh, fuck me. I thought hype was going to be a hell of a short squeeze. I doubled down. Fuck him. Oh fuck. I'm on a leverage trade then. Fuck, I gotta check that. Let me just check. Probably. Oh no, I'm okay. Yeah.
So I think Jeff Miller's made a really smart comment that I fully agree with. BTC was designed as a hedge against the debasement of currency that happens through turning on the money printer. So when the money printer turns on, Bitcoin historically, which we can't, we're trying not to do that. Oh, this happened before, but economics wise, we tend to see crypto thrive when the money printers turn on.
So I think Jeff is right. Bitcoin was designed for this, but up until now, it hasn't been the case. What we have is the very, very tentative, the very first signs that may not be real. It might just be an artifact of some other bullshit we don't understand. That this could be the case. I hope it's the case.
Yeah.
I think, look, I would have said I would have said this smells like a bottom, like a fear-filled bottom. And I know because I'm, literally a psychopath and none of this shit really fucking bothers me either way. Like I can have $1 million monthly swing in my net worth and it doesn't, and my wife doesn't know. And I got up this morning and saw the charts and I was like, ooh, that's a bit how you going, isn't it? And I know that when I'm feeling the pressure, other people are like crushed by it. So there'll be some puking going on, is what I think. I wouldn't sell. So the markets like this are very strongly correlated with, I wouldn't want to drop a market order into this order book. Generally on days like this, and my old stockbroker mate taught me this, he was there in 87, you don't want to sell into this market. You don't want to buy it either. You just got to keep your hands off the steering wheel. You got no puke left.
So when we have these, kind of, I wouldn't call it a crash so much, but this kind of price corrections, I'm not trading.
It's a replay.
But what is stalking. And what I mean by stalking is like I'm thinking to myself, what are the type of future trades that I'll want to take? Probably swing trades. So I want to look for things that I think are really unpriced.
Let's dig into that. There's just a plane going over. I'll just wait until it goes. So we have three main different types of trades, and we want to be very clear about what we're taking. We have momentum trades where the thing starts to go up and it continues to go up. And we have price inefficiencies where, because, for example, some big seller has sold a large order into the market, the price is pushed below where it should be, and it's probably going to rocket back. If you are trading price inefficiencies, it's very different than trading momentum prices. Trading momentum, everything happens slowly. Greed is a nice, comfortable emotion. Price inefficiencies, if the price is wrong, shouldn't stay wrong for long. That should be a very attractive opportunity. And if it's attractive to you, it should be attractive to others, and it should attract bang. We've got a third type of trading where we've got a buildup of leverage positions that are sticky and trapped one way that can be squeezed. We see that in hyperliquid at the moment. I think hyperliquid is subject to a reverse, which stop out a lot of shorts. You fat fuck that I am. It's 1 baht in Thailand. They measure gold in, they sell pure gold instead of jewelry gold, and so they do it by weight. You can get across the border with one of these. It's a 1 baht chain, which is 15.17 grams, right?
I'm not sure. The wife's the expert in the
Yeah,
gold.
my
Or
wife has a little dragon hoard of gold.
that my money seems to go.
Yeah, yeah, my wife prefers gold over crypto and real money anyway. Look at those guns. Oh, look over there. No, no, back over here. Oh, guns out, guns out.
Nice. Okay.
So if we're talking about what do you want to be looking at buying, you want to look at shit that has real value. There's two situations. It's dipped because it's fucked and it's going to zero. So there are some memes that you could say may have dipped and just gonna bleed away. So I wouldn't be doing reprice trades on memes. What I would be doing is reprice trades on things that are still good, that are known good. And list the coins that are known good over multiple cycles, please. Or known good as in they have a fundamentally great story.
Okay. So we got Sol, AVAX, Link,
I'd say
uh,
Sol, Link, Aave.
Aave.
I like Hyperliquid still. ETH, definitely not going anywhere. ENA is a special case. Now, I've got some insider there. The VCs that have been puking it have an agreement between themselves to stop VC selling at 30 cents. So I think I looked at ENA at 27 cents, and I think that's starting to look attractive. Hyperliquid at $10 is a steal. You want to look at the things which are known good. Aave would be at the top of my list. Link, Chainlink would be at the top of my list. Sol would be at the top of my list.
Yeah, because with a coin like Sol, if you extend that out, it's like a pullback in an uptrend is a great place to get positioned, and that's what a coin like Sol feels like. It's already a winner.
Okay, so let me correct your thinking. A pullback in an uptrend is a great place to get positioned if we have momentum. I don't think there's any doubt that we don't have any momentum in the market. So we're not making that sort of trade. The trade is purely someone sold it and they sold too much of it and they all sold at once and the price is pushed further than it should. So a beach ball pushed down under the water and it's going to bounce back. How do you trade those trades is very important. You don't turn a hoe into a housewife. You don't turn a repricing trade into a momentum trade. So if you think Ethereum's the easiest one because Ethereum's worth roughly $2,000, it's $1,500 today. If it bounces back to $2,000, you'll say, "Oh, but it's going up to 4,000." No. That's turning a hoe into a house. You just want it. If you're buying the repricing, you want to trade the repricing back to where it's fair value. You don't want to be taking an edge on hoping momentum happens, hoping the Trump thing happens, and hoping this and hoping that. You just want to take the trade that you took. If you took a momentum trade, ride the momentum trade. If you took a repricing trade, take that trade.
Yeah, this is really interesting because I think there's so many mind traps that we can fall into. There's like trying to project into the future. If I don't do something now, can I make enough when times are good? Whereas really we're saying it's hard to trade now, but if you just patient, maybe it will become easy to trade again. And once it's easy to trade again, when it's easy to trade.
So action steps. Hands off the fucking steering wheel. No selling, no buying. When it seems like the bottom is in, is the moment of maximum fit. If you want to take a few short-term trades, and by short-term, I mean 2 or 3 days, you look for the shit that you know is coming back that's being pushed far from fair value. Marlon, why are they so good? Because it's the premier DeFi lending protocol. It's been here since like way back in the day. It's never been hacked. It's never been exploited. It's functioned as advertised. It earns positive cash flow. And really, all of that is bullshit. The real reason is because fucking Donald Trump owns it. Like, that's how you know it's coming back. Because if it's not
Yeah.
coming back, he'll do some shit to make it come back because that's the type of nigga he is. That's just
Yeah.
that's just as simple as it is.
Yeah. Crow is,
No,
I
no,
think,
no. Oh,
his portfolio as well, isn't it?
he got gifted some crow as a bribe.
Ah, he was giving it.
Yeah, TRX is doing well because surprise, fucking prize. I'll show you why TRX is doing well. Let me zoom in on Donald Trump's portfolio. World Liberty Financial Multisig. Let's look at his tokens. Oh, look, the altcoin he owns the most of is fucking TRX. Well, that's a fucking surprise. What does he own second most of? Aave, Move, Ondo, SEI, all these Ethereum, all these things, Bitcoin. He's going to make sure all these things go up. That's just the type of guy he is. Now, a couple of comments about specific coins. ENA, I did some research trades almost exclusively like Ethereum, but so you can think of ENA as Ethereum on steroids. You can think of Pepe as Ethereum on steroids. Yeah, let me grab that wallet address for you guys to follow. Here you go. So bookmark this, guys. This is Donald Trump's portfolio. You can think of both ENA and Pepe as just Ethereum. So Ethereum goes down, they're going to go down more. That's just the thing. So I like if Ethereum's gone down further on a percentage basis than ENA, then Ethereum is almost by definition undervalued. Okay, XRP.
Okay. Roadmap.
James Lester's talking about short trading XRP. XRP is a scam. Like, it's definitely a fucking scam. So on the other hand, it's also the thing that every fucking boomer I know, the coin that they love is XRP. It's like the classic boomer coin. And so the company that owns XRP makes money by selling XRP when the price is high. And they do it. That's what they do. So, you know, XRP at $2, like, I wouldn't want to have a dog in the fight. Like it could go higher. It could definitely go higher. I definitely wouldn't bet on it going down. It's probably worthless, worth less, worth zero. Like, it's probably a donut. But it hasn't behaved that way. So you just don't want to have a bet in a fight where you've got price insensitive buyers. And they really are price insensitive buyers. TRX is strong because it's the money laundering chain of choice. I live in Phuket, and every money launderer there uses on TRX chain, and TRX is used by all the market makers, all of them, to quickly transfer balances between centralized exchanges. The TRX is very, very fast, very, very cheap. Not a scam, as just an intentionally fast, cheap, centralized. It's not decentralized. It's fast and cheap. Justin Sun is a scumbag. The guy who owns TRX. He's an absolute scumbag. He's got a history of doing this most shameful, greasy shit. TRX is going up, so it makes sense to hold it. You know, that's a momentum trade. There's no fundamentals to TRX. There's just straight momentum. It's been over the last year. It's probably one of, if not the strongest coins in crypto. Yeah, it's got a very high total value locked, Warren. That's a poor metric, but it's very high because every single one of the market makers uses it for internal transfers. It's very, very useful. If I want to send $1,000 USDT to Ian today, TRX is the cheapest and fastest way to do it. It's near instant. If I send it on the Ethereum network, it's going to take a few minutes. Ian, do you have stuff to add? What do you reckon?
Because my questions this morning were going to be, I was going to start off by saying, like, what is it I can actually see? And then if we showed a chart of the S&P 500, I was going to say, well, that looks like you've picked a fight with the wrong person, and that is just going down. And then if you compare that to Bitcoin, that looks a bit more like you've picked a fight with someone that you can handle, and you're kind of, not sure which way it goes. So that gives that strength to it. And then I was going to, like, the volume metric on a chart is something that I've been trying to investigate and kind of see what's what. Yeah, volume's pretty interesting. Let's see some of these. Off here.
Very low battery. Joys of holidays.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry about that, man. I'll put myself on mute and let you go for it. I missed.
It's just this I've just been starting to, look more at volume as an indicator, because volume is it's a live indicator rather than a historical indicator. And I've just been playing with it, and I haven't quite figured out what it is that I'm figuring out from volume yet. So it's just really looking at it and looking at the basics and trying to say, well, what information can we take from that? So if we look at this S&P 500, that's a huge volume bar that's way above average, and then it's produced this long candle, okay? And then if we go straight to Bitcoin, we've got a scenario where we've got so much less volume, which you showed as the standard deviation, I think was another way of looking at this. We've got so much less volume, but even with that smaller volume that's coming through, it's still not beating Bitcoin up. So that tells me that the people that are holding Bitcoin are the people that are not going to sell Bitcoin. The majority of the weak hands have now been shaken out. I'm sorry, love. We've done our money. No honeymoon. We lost. Crypto sucks. Like they've emptied out of the market. So that was how I was going to start today and be like, well, I kind of got
a very insightful point. I think this is a key point that I missed. And really, if you go back to the Bitcoin chart, all of the forced sellers happened like 3 or 4 weeks ago, right? On that big ass fuck off down that one. That was when all so anyone who was going to sell sold in.
Mm-hmm. Then the other chart that I was going to look at today was going to be this crypto total market cap, excluding the top 10, and I think USDT, USDC. Let's get this on the on the monthly. Let's have a look at this. I could probably, you could probably draw another little support line somewhere around there. So again, looking at that volume, you know, that looks a pretty big flush out. And now the volume is below average. We're starting to see a little bit of a wick. We're at this kind of crucial support line. So I'm hands off the wheel, but I'm trying to look around for what could give me an early indication of some kind of movement. And then I'd take that knowledge and I'd start looking for retest patterns so that I can see things that have got momentum. We can use the spaghetti charts for that. Then I'd be looking for retest patterns and kind of swing trades. So that was where I was going first thing. You're muted at the moment. Dude, you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've just got a bunch of people with vacuums all up in my face.
We could probably call it, because I mean I'm just waffling now.
Yeah, I'm just waffling too. I think I'm just taking up everyone's time. Guys, honestly, today's a day for sitting on your hands. I think the probability is we'll get a bounce tonight. Probability. News on trend. That's what I'm here in Australia to do. I've got a meeting with one of the big DeFi HFT firms on Wednesday, and fingers crossed, inshallah, they're going to be buying 5% of our company, and they're going to be on board with adding HFT execution to FinRev and being the market maker for the launch of Trend Coin. That's the deal I'm putting to them.
Inshallah. Let's not keep you another second.
All right. See you guys. Have a good one.
Ta-da.